Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, my precious pack, and welcome back once more to VEGA Conflict. Today I want to talk about the upcoming Ranger, which is the final Ranger, and it is going to be the Altairian Ranger, the Artemis. I want to just quickly go over what I think of it, just based off of its stats, how I think it can be used, and some stuff like that. So, let's go ahead and let's jump over real quick to the blueprint itself, and let's see what it has to offer and throw it in a few theoretical situations where it may excel. Okay, so here we are taking a look at the Artemis. Repair time is the same as all the others, the effective range is the same, basically everything is the same. 10,000 hit points, 17,000 tons of mass, and 3,500,000 cargo, whatnot like that. Ship speed is basically the same as the Valraven, so there's no difference between them there. Sector speed is same and everything like that. So they're all the same in that regard. But let's go ahead and let's take a look at what it packs with its overdrives, because they are interesting, but I'm curious as to whether they're hard capped and it's just not being set or anything like that, which I would like to know in advance if they are. So first up is going to be the Hunt Overdrive. When 5,000 damage is done, Artemis will deploy a squadron of drones for 20 seconds in order to deal extra damage and distract enemies in combat. One thing I'd like to quickly correct, it says that it will distract. Well, unless you're fighting short-range ships, that's not correct. If you're fighting any ship that has the same range as your Artemis, they will be firing at the Artemis. So in this case, you're only getting extra damage. You're not getting any type of distraction or anything like that. So that isn't quite correct, because that's not how drones work. They can take a shot on the way in, but once they're there, that's about it. But what are they packing on a Mark 1 Artemis? 900 damage per second, 18 seconds flight time, 8,500 meters scramble range, 1,800 meters per second, 2,600 hit points, and phase hacking of 20% for 10 seconds. Okay, and instantly the thought that I put into this is it's a drone. As it loses health, it's going to lose DPS and stuff like that, just as they always do, because it's a drone. Based off of squadrons, and their damage is lost as they lose health. I'm going to assume the same is true for the phase hacking, and the 20% is the base value, but it can be reduced by whatever the value of the health is. So lose 50%, you get 10%, whatever it's going to be. The reason I'm saying that is because I don't have anything to say otherwise at the moment, and that'll just be an assumption that I'll be able to prove or disprove just by simply testing it after they launch in a few days. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at the other overdrive, the Vengeance Overdrive, and then we'll quickly take a look at the other stats. When one drone is destroyed or returns, Artemis gains additional bonuses substantially increasing its combat capabilities for 10 seconds. My tired mind started to read that and made me go back over it again because it just didn't look right. And again, we don't know what the caps or anything like that are on this, so we don't know if it's got a hard cap of like 5 or so or something like that, or if it has no cap, and the faster we can spawn them and the faster they can return, the faster it becomes. So they have fire disruption, charge disruption, and cooldown disruption. This is extremely powerful in that regard, because that's for one drone that comes back, you gain all these bonuses. Now, one thing that I do have to say real quick, looking at what it says, when one drone is returned, Artemis gains additional bonuses, substantially increasing its combat capabilities. I don't think it'll go beyond what we see here, but this may be improved through mark upgrades and stuff like that, because looking at it now, it would make sense that it's just one drone affecting it. So this is just one stack. It doesn't get any better than this, unless we mark upgrade it and it says that it's better, in which case then it may be. But the primary thing that is going to be interesting with it is the fire disruption. This will disable beam weapons effectively, because you'll be able to effectively reset them every time they fire and stuff like that. So you'll be able to consecutively reset them, increase their charge time so it takes them longer to be able to fire again, then you can reset it again. Increased weapon speed. Now, this is one thing I'd like for them to correct. This isn't weapon speed, it's projectile speed. of weapons and stuff like that. So, you know, a cannon weapon or any type of non-beam weapon will actually have increased projectile flight speeds. So you'll be able to hit the targets more reliably from a distance as they travel. And then as for the ship speed, stuff like that, it's a small increase across the board of 15%. So it's not much, but it could be interesting to see how it works out. And at the moment, the ship is looking very auto-friendly because it's got fire disruption, it's got mobility, weapon speed upgrade, it's got everything it needs to be auto-friendly. And then it has the Hunt Overdrive, and when 5,000 damage is done, Artemis will deploy a squadron of drones. So this is most likely a repeating one, so every time we deal 5,000 damage, we'll be able to deploy an Artemis drone. Now, I already have a build in mind that I want to use on my first Artemis to be able to push that and see just how quickly I can get them to spawn, to see if it is correct, because if you can spawn as many as you want off of one Artemis, just based off the damage, then everyone's going to use a Xeno build with theirs, or a mixed build to be able to maximize on the damage, and then they're going to use certain things to boost the damage even further so that they can just spawn them as quickly as possible. And it makes sense to do that because you want to just spam your opponent with drones and you want to overwhelm them. At least so long as the combat server understands what's going on and it doesn't just crash, which could happen. But at the moment, it has a little bit of everything going for it as well, because it has a weapon mass reduction at Mark 1, armor mass, shield mass, it has the resurgence, recharge values, and stuff like that. It has the increased weapon speed, screen damage, its own little bit of phase charge hacking and whatnot, but I mean, it's not that much. 5%. What's the Orion? 2.5%. Oh, it's better than the Orion, so that's another feature that it's going to be auto-friendly with. So, in total, depending on whether the drone is struck or not, and if it actually is as I think it is, you might be able to get up to 25% phase charge hacking off an entire NPC fleet Pharmacon with just one ship. So 25% isn't that bad because you have that value off of multiple ships. So that's actually going to be interesting to see how it works out. And I actually think that they'll be dominating the Pharmacon targets because they'll be able to strip them down to virtually no protection and just decimate the poor ships. So these might be very, very good auto-farming ships for just about everything that we're going to need that's Pharmacon related, so the new targets moving forwards and whatnot. So, based off of the stats that we can see at the moment, I think the ship is going to be a good auto-farming ship, and it's going to be auto-friendly. And with the Hunt Overdrive, the Vengeance Overdrive, it just reinforces that because, by all intents and purposes, it should be able to effectively farm a target, bring the weapons, bring the firepower down of the fleet, and keep itself safe, all while increasing its own movement speed, spamming drones, and doing its own thing. So it should theoretically be able to auto-farm fairly easily on its own. The only thing you're going to have to worry about is that weak little charge rate. However, there's going to be a few different things we can do to boost that up. As for the other stats and stuff like that, at the moment, it doesn't seem like anything is extremely odd or out of place with it. It seems like it's just another Ranger. The overdrives, they are interesting, and I can't wait to see how it plays out. And that's odd because so far I haven't been all too interested in seeing what any of the normal ships for Tier 8 have played out as, because I've been more interested in the Dreadnoughts, because I typically just don't care about the normal ships as they come out. But in the case of the Artemis, I'm going to make an exception because I'm curious as to see what it will do. So I'm going to make sure that I pick up a fleet of them in the first week, get them all fully fitted with the build that I'm thinking of. I'm going to need to get a few more horde cannons and stuff like that. But at the moment, it's looking like it's going to be extremely auto-friendly, and I can't wait to see how it actually plays out for everyone. But that's going to be it. Let's go ahead and let's hop back to the planet, because I want to have the planet in the background when I end this video and just bring up a few statements and whatnot like that I wanted to talk about last time but didn't get around to. So, the ship is looking auto-friendly. I'm extremely interested in seeing how it's going to go. So that's actually something to look forward to in a future video when we do the Artemis video. And more than that, This month's Let's Chat is going to be focused around the monetary aspect of the game, because there's a lot to discuss from a free player's perspective that I think the marketing team could put to use to help encourage growth of the game again. It's just a matter of whether we can get the correct set of ideas laid out. But that's going to be it. Aside from the Let's Chat, there's going to be a few random videos and stuff like that for VEGA, and then random gameplay from just about every other game. So expect a few different things on the channel. But for now, be safe out there, my pack. Happy hunting, and as always, I'll see you later.